Sarah Palmer, with respect to her character, and with no bias here, is honestly a badass. She is easily one of the best Spartan 4s, and that is relevant to her status as commander of the Spartans. So why does everyone hate her like she is the plague? It really comes down to just a few simple but extremely important aspects of her character that causes the hate storm to constantly hover around her. See, Palmer was more than likely put into the Halo series to fill the shoes of Sergeant Johnson, which is already a nearly impossible task. So from the beginning, Palmer was already fighting an uphill battle among gaining the love of the Halo community. Unlike Johnson, though, she lacks the charisma and the catchy one-liners that made Johnson one of the greatest video game characters of all time. Instead, her attitude and character written out by the writers at Different 3 Industries decided to make her, for a lack of a better word, a bitch. Alright, I'll be real. She seems sort of like a bitch. Alright? They could have gone almost anywhere with her character, but they chose to make her power hungry, narcissistic, egotistical, and a very self-righteous character. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't always mean that a character possessing those traits will be hated so much by their franchise's community. No, there are plenty of asshole characters in the gaming world that manage to get away with those tendencies, but Sarah Palmer is not one of them. The deal with her is that she is just right in the very first cutscene in Halo 4 with her, she decides to insult our beloved Master Chief.
I thought you'd be taller.
Ground forces ordered to return to Infinity immediately.
See, that is something you just don't do. Fortunately, Chief got back at her at the final cutscene when he towered over Palmer and the rest of the puny Spartan force, which made the scene mentioned earlier a bit redundant, but it was just another way for people to hate her since Chief is clearly way above her in all ways. So yeah, hell of a way to start a Halo career, right? Moving on. So Halo 4 had a new mode, which if you guys remember, if you remember at all, was Spartan Ops. Palmer was one of the main stars of this mini campaign experience, and I say this with great weight to my words, was the icing on the cake for the hate storm to commence on her. You see, in Spartan Ops, she was so negative and so hateful throughout the entire experience that by the end of the story, her very strict and harsh personality really started to drag me down and many fans down in the Halo community. Believe it or not, Palmer has appeared in every Halo game since Halo 4, except for Spartan Strike, which was the sequel to the top-down shooter game, which she starred in Spartan Assault. She has also went to hold a place in many of the Halo comic issues and other forms of literature, and here's where it starts to get really ridiculous. In these comics, the Escalation series is what we're mainly talking about, she had a large part of the series dedicated to her upbringing of becoming a Spartan and how she was affected by all the crazy events that she was a part in the Halo universe. Throughout all of this, her character did not change at all. Not at all. Even when it was teased that she was finally starting to see that she wasn't as badass and special as she thinks she is, no. The writers still continue to make her a very snobby, smart-ass person and, did not change at all, very static. Losing a great chance to explain why she had that personality or even allowing her to gain back some of the rep before the big Halo game came out so she could start to become a bit of a better character for the fans, but they've lost that chance. In Halo 5 Guardians, Palmer seemed to be finally changing as a person and character. She seemed a lot less into herself and more concerned for those around her, which is a very good sign coming from a person like her. She still had a bit of Palmer bossiness in 2 that we all know from her, but overall, she was much less aggravating as a character. When Halo 6 plays out, I really believe Palmer will finally do something that will save her character and lift the storm of hate off her. I'm going to go out now and predict that Palmer is going to give the epic sacrifice that her spiritual predecessor, Sergeant Johnson, did back in Halo 3. We might actually even forgive Palmer for all of her jerkiness if she just dies. Keeping it real once again. It would honestly not be that bad of an end to a character that everyone loves to hate. If this ends up being true or not, either way, we will not know for quite some time, as Halo 5 did just release after all. Spartan Sarah Palmer is the definition of a hard-nosed soldier that doesn't like to take no for an answer. She is responsible for helping to save millions of lives and has proved to be one of the best warriors in the galaxy, with her dual-wielding pistols, assortment of badass fighting abilities, solid leadership attributes, and all her other skills. She is without a doubt a great addition to the UNSC and also the Halo universe. But don't forget to look over her good looks and a badass looking Scout's armor that makes her even more of a memorable character. Her voice actor, Jennifer Hale, did a great job in voicing the character so far, and even though her script as the character made Palmer out to be a real prick, Hale still delivered one hell of a great voiceover for Palmer throughout the series. No pun intended. This is all just more proof that even though you may perform and look like a true badass of character, that doesn't really guarantee your love by the fans. And by the way, Palmer, you shooting Halsey did not get you any brownie points by the Halo community. Just saying. But don't give up, Palmer. You still have time to destroy the community hate. Or you could just die and we could sort of forgive you, but I mean, you're probably going to be hated by some portion of the community. But here's a question for you guys and gals watching now. What do you guys think Palmer could do to gain the love of the Halo community? Do you think her out is dying and maybe her doing one last thing that will perhaps get Halsey's forgiveness? Because that part of the story in Spartan Ops was never really closed. Halsey was meant to get revenge on Palmer or the UNSC, and we really never got to follow up that in the Halo cutscenes, and I would love to see some kind of conclusion. But what do you guys think will happen to her in Halo 6 or the sequel to Halo 5 Guardians, whatever the next installment to the Halo franchise is? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Like this video up if you ended up enjoying, and be sure to share this video to your friends and family if they like Halo as well, and the channel. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace out.